Would you identify yourself, please, and ask your question?
Assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Sheikh Deedat. Like all Muslims, I'm incensed by what Rushdie has written, and I feel I must protest. According to what you said during your marvellous lecture to the Quran, we cannot nickname people or mimic, is that right? Then how would I feel when I read your book, on the first line, refer to Satanic Salman and the picture with the horns and the hat? Is that against Quran or not? Could you please clarify that point with me? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, let me say, look what he did to me. See, if I swear you, anybody will justify you swearing back. Am I right? Am I right?
Yes.
If I swear you, you swear me. You swear me, I swear you. And people will say, well, you know, you just can't help. That guy did it to me. What he did to me, my natural reaction, I'm not perfect, by God, by far from perfect. I'm...
Could we have quiet, please? Excuse me, you had your chance. If you would like to ask a question, please go to the back of the queue. Would you please be quiet? You had your chance. You asked 3 questions.
Now, why don't you line up? Why are you sitting there like a dead duck, you know? Why don't you line up there? You get your turn. You. Line up. Take your turn. Then we know who you are, what you're talking about. See, shouting from there. Now he's discussing strategy. How? Look, my son. I am like anybody else, like you, like anybody else. I am no saint. And I am not perfect. I am telling you, this is what Islam teaches. I, you, everybody, we must try to the best of our ability to live by it. Let's say to a degree, I have fallen short of that requirement. I have done it. I have done it.
Good man. Thank you. The next questioner, please. If you would identify yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Omar. I'm a Muslim. I need no other identification except the title that Allah in His infinite wisdom, power, and grace has given to me, and that is that I'm a Muslim. I heard much of what you said and I agreed, and I heard much of what you said and I was hurt and disagreed. I was pained for the children that were here and the language. Of course, we live in a world where language such as that is often used. But what pained me the most was when I heard, if I can quote you, and please allow for my inaccuracies. Sometimes I am often mistaken. If you live in a country, you should be willing to die for it. Well, there are many countries in which I'm willing to live, but there's certainly only one cause for which I'm willing to die. Please clarify yourself if you could.
Yes. Thank you. You see, I made a statement that if a country is worth living in, it is worth dying for. I did say that. Islam teaches us that if you can't live, you can't practice your religion, you can't do things right, then you make hijrah. Allah tells in the Quran that His earth is vast. You know, for provision, He will provide for you. Make hijrah and go. Go somewhere else. You have no right to remain in a place now. If you are not allowed to practice your faith, your iman, our thing is now, if you are not in a position to practice your deen, you must get out. That is all. So, but if it's worth, I say, if it's worth living in, your country is at war and you sit at home and say, let the people die for you, for your children. I says, no, you must be prepared to defend the country against any outside attack. Right is right, wrong is wrong. But you owe certain loyalties to your country. If you're in Pakistan, you have to defend Pakistan. If you're in Saudi Arabia and there's conscription, in my country there's no conscription for the black man. But if there is, I can't help it. He said, look, if you live in this country, you have to fight for this country. Otherwise, get out. So this is the answer I can give you, my brother. That I said, if it's worth, if you think it's worth living in, then it's worth dying for. If it's not worth living in, then you are free.
Assalamu alaikum. Brother Sheikh, in bracket, Professor Deedat, in your opening speech earlier, you mentioned the course you took in South Africa relating to this satanic sermon. I think I am in full support of what you did, and I am very pleased with the success you got. But will people, say in predominantly Muslim countries, and also Muslims living in this country, follow the same course? Viewing that the book was written here, published here, which means all those actors, the Queen, the head of state, and other leaders who were accused or abused, have read the book, presumably, or some others have read it and translated it to them. They knew it, and yet they allowed it to be published. So if they didn't object to it, we as Muslims living in this country, though I'm not British, but I'm living here, should we not protest to defend our own religion, our own faith, our own belief? May I know what you think about the action of our brothers and sisters in Bradford, who really brought us to light to defend our cause? Thank you.
I think you missed the point when I said that if I was here with you when this turmoil was taking place, I would have joined you in your marches, in your crying, in your book burning. I would have been one with you. Did I say that? If you remember, I said that. I would have been one with you. But now I said I have an advantage. I was far away, and I was taken some time for me to see things. In other words, now I can formulate ideas, which you in the midst of turmoil, sitting on a hot stove, you can't do. It's not your fault. I'm not blaming anybody that, look, why couldn't you do what? I said, look, the reason is you were in turmoil. You are on the run. Like Jesus Christ. You see it in the Bible. The man is on the move. Every time he opens his mouth, people want to stone him. So he's on the move. It's a different circumstances from another man who is at peace and rest and is able to deliver a message. So I have that advantage and experience from other people's mistakes. I'm benefiting. I said, look, this man here on the program was questioned. Have you read the book? And our heroes, almost all, they said no. So I said, no, I mustn't fall foul of that. Suppose I go to Britain and I offered £50,000 to BBC TV. BBC TV, I offered them £50,000 to give me 5 minutes on prime time to give them the best of Rushdie. I said, you want to read in public? You had the blasphemous banquet? Give me only 5 minutes and I give you £50,000. Give me 5 minutes to read to you the best of Rushdie. No reply. I offered ABC and PBS TV in America $50,000 for 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. Why I'm able to do that is I'm benefiting from my other brothers' mistakes. They made certain mistakes. I said, I won't do that. You know, I might just share this with you. I think Sheikh Sadi Rahmatullah alayh, one of our great philosopher poets, he was asked, he says, where did you learn all these good manners from? Your good manners. You know, you're such a perfect man that we see, you know, well behaved. Where did you learn them from? So he said, I learned them from the unmannerly. So how can you learn manners from the unmannerly? He says, no, you see, everything I see in the other man that I feel is not right, I won't do it. So this thing you did like that, I won't do that. That mistake you did, no, I won't do that. So I learned my good manners from the unmannerly. What do you? So I was only benefiting from other people's mistakes. That is all.
Thank you very much. You are great.
Next questioner, please. Could you identify yourself, please?
Assalamu alaikum. I have no question, but a request. A request only to Dr. Deedat, what he's doing in this world, to be translated, one share which I will decide and invite everybody to come in speaker corner. Nikal kar khankaon se, Dr. Iqbal says, Maulana Lolabi Kashmiris, in Kashmir is translated in Urdu. Nikal kar khankaon se.
Sir, could you ask your question?
Ada kar rasme shabiri. کہ فقر خانقائی ہے فقر اندو دلگیری آپ سب کا کام ہے نکل جائے گھروں سے بارکوں کو مسجدوں کو जहां कोई एक सफेद मिलता है उसको रुश्दी की शैतानियत से आगाह करें. प्लीज ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश.
I'm not an Urdu Khan, but so a few words I understood was that instead of remaining in the monkeries and in your cloisters, saying tasbih and sitting down doing nothing, say get out and do some work. That is what is in essence. That's the message. No.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, Sheikh Ahmed. It's alright us saying, right, to stop Salman Rushdie for what he's done to the brothers and sisters. But don't you think he's done the damage already to us? Don't you think what he's done already is very bad already? So don't you think that if we did see him, our natural reaction would be to do something to him? Wouldn't you think so? For what he's done to us?
You are a Britisher?
Yeah.
Right. Your feelings are my feelings.
Yeah.
Can we have the next questioner, please? Would you identify yourself, please, sir?
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. After all the things that Salman Rushdie said, and would he be allowed back into Islam? Would he be allowed to accept Islam again?
You see, accepting Islam, this is in the hands of God, whether Allah accepts. If you commit murder, rape, whatever, you commit a crime. Now, if you make istighfar, repentance, sincerely to Allah, Allah can forgive you. But in the house of Islam, the Sharia takes its course. Allah can forgive, but the Sharia won't forgive. You committed a murder, deliberate murder, you deserve to die, life for life. But in the hereafter, your recompense is there. Allah says, all right, okay, you sincerely repented, I forgive you. That's his prerogative. But the Sharia has no right. The Sharia won't allow you to forgive if you do a crime.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Sayyida Kirmani and I'm a British Muslim, and this question is to you, Brother Deedat. You mentioned in your course of speech the Islamic punishment for adulterers and slanderers, but you haven't mentioned the punishment which says in the Quran for the blasphemy that Rushdie committed. And as a Muslim, and as far as my knowledge goes of the Quran, your approach to Rushdie affair is in contradiction of Holy Quran. My second question is...
Now that was a statement.
My second question is...
That was not a question, that was a statement you made.
Do you agree with this?
What?
Do you agree with my statement?
What statement did you make? What did you say?
In Quran, the punishment for blasphemy against the Prophet of Allah is quite different. It's either by death or by stoning or cutting arms and legs. And that's what it says in Quran.
Yes. Right, I'll answer you, my sister. We were dealing with the subject, how Rushdie fooled the West. Now, this thing I was telling you is so vast that this one person or one time you can't deal with everything. I have dealt with this problem. Now, this will be the third tape. Third tape on the same problem. Should Rushdie die? The Islamic verdict.
Should he?
Should, that's the question.
But
now you have to get the tape.
Can you tell us? Because we're all here.
This is another lecture. You want me to deliver another lecture?
No, just say
No, wait. We started here at 2:30. It's 4:30 now. This will take another 2 hours. You want me to expound to you for 2 hours? Look, you can't just make statements. You have to get this tape.
I'm only asking you if you agree with the Quranic punishment or you don't.
I agree what the Quran says, and here we deal with it in total, 2 hours.
So you agree with the Quranic punishment?
As a Muslim, how can you disagree?
That's all I want.
I think that...
Then further, again, should Rushdie die?
Yes.
The Judeo-Christian verdict. That's a different subject. Now at that subject, you said, look, what about Islam? I said, look. When I was talking about Islam, he said, what about... I said, look, wait a minute. You see, there are people who can make 100 different statements in 15 minutes. Unfortunately, I can't do that. You see, if I touch something, I have to explain to you the whole situation. So, the Islamic verdict, the Judeo-Christian verdict, and now you will see in the future how he fooled the West. And each and every one is separate, independent, but is doing a certain job.
I think that excuse me, sister, I think that Sheikh Deedat has been very patient in answering a question that is not related to the topic. And brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask you to please remain and contain your questions to the topic. It is unfair to ask a question on another topic which will require perhaps a couple hours of explanation. Could we have the next question, please?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tabassum Ahmed and I'm a Muslim Pakistani. I want to ask you, is the fatwa passed by Ayatollah Khomeini, is that justified from an Islamic point of view?
I don't think you understand English, my child. Look, we have been talking about how Rushdie fooled the West. Where does Khomeini fit in? The topic. Look, if you came with the understanding, I don't know whether you understood, a challenge to the giants of the British literary world, you know, can you stomach the best of Rushdie? There was no Khomeini, no Quran, nothing. We're not bringing it. The Quran says this, the Hadith says this, nothing. We are talking about how he fooled the West. And what you can do now is to educate the British what he has done to them. Let them do the job. And they will do it for you.
Could we have the next questioner, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Would you identify yourself, please?
My name is Hajj, and I would like to ask a question to Sheikh Ahmed Deedat. He says that Rushdie has blasphemed all the humankind, all human beings. And even if he didn't spare the queen, we know, as he says in his book, he has used some words for our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we know that this Prophet is even greater than the queen, or whoever that is greater than the queen. The Prophet is greater than you. I would like to know, Mr. Ahmed Deedat, as a Muslim, because something good went on and some books have been banned. I would like to know, as a Muslim, our point of view, what should we carry on actually to do? Because many questions, the real question that is to be asked is whether Salman Rushdie is a Muslim or he's not a Muslim.
I don't think you're reading the newspapers. Look, Salman Rushdie, he says he is not a religious man. He doesn't follow any religion. That's his verdict. He is out of the pale of Islam on his own confession. Well, now what do you want to go and ask him now? What will we ask him? He says he doesn't believe. Finish. It's over. That's what he says. He's a murtad. He's an unbeliever. So you can't treat him as a believer. What else proof you want from him now? I don't know, the whole world knows that he says he's not a religious man. He's not a Muslim. He says so. He was born in the house of Islam. You and I can be. But it's possible that you become a murtad, you become a Christian, you become a Buddhist, you become an atheist, and you still have a Muslim name given by your fathers. So that's his case. So where do we go from here now?
Thank you very much.
Ready for the next question, please?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Musa from Nigeria on a visit. I wanted to ask a question which has earlier on been asked. But I have an observation to do as regards the general behavior of the audience. I don't know whether that one will be accepted here. Observation.
Do you have a question related to the topic, today's topic?
I have a question which has already been asked and answered. But I have an observation to do as regards the general behavior of the audience.
Yes, I think that we made that quite clear in the guidelines, that we don't have time for observations, and I'm sure it's an interesting one, but Sheikh Deedat has rented the hall and has given his lecture, and now it's a question period. So if you have a question related to the topic, please ask it. If not, you'll have to keep your observation for another time.
Okay, it's just an observation. He's not going to answer.
But thank you.
It's accepted, thank you.
We're ready for the next question, please.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muslim Jafar Kaku. Can I first of all thank you on everybody's behalf for presenting such a different way to what satanic verses is actually saying. The second thing I wanted to say was, can you make sure or do some effort in helping us to give this book to each and every household in Britain as well as in America or in Western countries? We will try, inshallah, but we need your support. Can you make sure in helping us? If you can, by video as well.
We are publishing 100,000 in Britain for free distribution, and another 100,000 in America for free distribution. I would like to see 1 million copies here and 1 million copies there. But now I'm appealing to you that don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg. See, don't kill us. What you do is, how much does this book cost each? Roughly 15 pence? Right. This costs 15 pence. Buy 10. Buy 100 at 15 pence each, so you don't kill us. And you give them out on your behalf. You know, this is what you ought to do. That way you'll be helping us immensely. Because now I'm interested in publishing the 100,000, it's under print. But then I said, look, I want 1 million. Look, this book should be given out in the streets, in all the cities. Give them out freely. You know, you buy them at cost price. If you can publish them yourself, cheaper, we are giving you an open order inside. We want no royalties from you, we have no copyrights, you publish it, you sell it, you distribute it free, no restrictions whatsoever. So if you want to do that, you can have that privilege as well. You can print it yourself, maybe it'll cost you 10 pence, maybe it'll cost you 5 pence. Go ahead and do it, but help us that way, spread the book.
Inshallah, we'll help you, but if you can start a fund or something just to publicize this book and the videos, I'm sure you'll get a lot of response from people who want to donate to this cause.
No, we don't want donation. You just buy it yourself. If you have got no time, buy 100 copies only. Okay. For how many? 15 pounds.
Thanks very much.
Or something like that.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Deedat.
Yes, if we could have 2 more questions, please, and yours. Well, let's say 3 questions, 2 more questioners after you.
Mr. Deedat, first of all, last year, November, some Muslim scholars, Muslim ulama, did contact the British government in connection with this book. So, like you did in South Africa, some scholars and some ulama tried to do it here, but they were unsuccessful through their Democratic Party. Secondly, you say Salman Rushdie, how he fooled the West. Well, all Muslims that are here are in the West, and they are part of the West. And as you have briefed us on how he has said abusive words to people, there's a lot of people here that are non-Muslims, and it is mainly on, you never use the word why they insulted Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The abusive language that he used and the technique that he used, he did not use the word Muhammad. Can you explain to me why you never brought up that word Muhammad and this? I don't know, maybe you can give it to me better? I don't know.
My brother, as you see, I have discovered there's a wrong policy. Our policy now is wrong. He said, you know what he called my mother? You know what you're doing? You're spreading it now. Look, the thing has spread enough, it has harmed us enough. 40 Muslims have died, women have been widowed, children orphaned, and now I'm going to say, you know what he called my mother? You know what he called my Nabi? You know what? What the hell? I said, forget it, man. That's a thing of the past. We have paid enough price for that. Now we say, look, you, sir, what he's doing to you? Forget about what happened to us. Because you crying about yourself is making the guy happy.
But you must.
Why be a fool? You are a fool when you say, now talk about yourself because he's feeling happy. It's right, he did it to you. Forget that. That's a thing of the past. I know how I feel, how you feel.
because you must understand that there is non-Muslims also here. That's why they wanted to know why we...
Don't waste time. Don't waste time. Go for the kill.
Before we have the last two questions, I would like to take this opportunity, of course, to thank Sheikh Ahmed Deedat for all this time that he has given us. I'd also like to thank the organizers, Brother Shamshad Khan of the Islamic Propagation Center International, and members of his team who have worked so relentlessly, especially Brother Khadim Hussein, Brother Saeed, and Brother Majid Dodi, to make this event a success. Okay, if we could have the next questioner, please. Yes, if everyone after the last questioner can really go and sit down, because we just don't have any more time to answer your questions. Yes, this is the first one, and there is one person after him. And everybody, I'm sure, it's so nice that you do have questions, but unfortunately we have to have some time to cut off the program. So there'll be two more questions, this gentleman and one more, and the rest, if you could please sit down, and perhaps we'll have there will be other programs this week, and your questions perhaps will be answered at those. Yes, sir?
My name is Mohammed Salim Dadavai. I wanted to ask Ahmed Deedat is why the Saudi government and the rest of the Arab world did not support the Iranian in order to stop these Salman Rushdie books.
You think I know people's minds? I don't. This is the question you should ask them. Look, the question, the person who does or who doesn't, you ask him the question. Why?
No, the problem is
so do you have a question on the topic? Because we have not discussing international politics.
By talking or merely understanding the West, because the West have conspired against Islam in
this
unity,
might make a very
we as a Muslim are not united.
This might make a very interesting topic in the future, but unfortunately it's not the topic here. Yes, could we please have the last questioner? Or a pair of questioners?
Assalamualaikum. My name is Farhana and this is my friend Shazia. She'd like to ask you a question.
Well, it's more advice than question.
Do you have a question other than advice? Because there are people here that have questions.
Question it is, you haven't heard it yet.
I put two questions to my teachers in school. It was one of freedom of speech, and I said, wasn't the last Temptation of Christ banned in this country? Am I wrong?
Yes, you're wrong. It's not banned. What was it? It was banned. So why isn't this book being
also
banned?
democracy. Wasn't the last Temptation of Christ banned in Pakistan? And also wasn't Satanic Verses banned in Pakistan? Isn't that respect to Christians and respect to Muslims? And that's all we demand, respect.
But what is your question?
My question is, why was I called into the head's office twice, and the second time I was asked, if I carry on like this, fighting for Islam, I'll have to get chucked out? I mean, am I doing anything wrong? So why am I getting chucked out? If I do anything again, then I'm dead, aren't I?
Yeah, and we want to know.
Tell me I'm doing something wrong, then I'll stop. But isn't this for Islam?
I would like to wish each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.